This is what a feminist looks like.
Show me what a feminist looks like.
This is what a feminist looks like.
Tell me what a feminist looks like.
This is what a feminist looks like.
Show me what a feminist looks like.
This is what a feminist looks like.
Show me what a feminist looks like.
This is what a feminist looks like.
Show me what a feminist looks like.
This is what a feminist looks like. This is what a feminist looks like. This is what a feminist looks like. This is what a feminist looks like. This is what a feminist looks like. This is what a feminist looks like. This is what a feminist looks like. This is what a feminist looks like. This is what a feminist looks like.
Before abortion was legalized, thousands of women risked their lives in back alley abortions to end unwanted pregnancies. The death toll during this time is unknown, but it's large.
Senate Bill 8, otherwise known as the Texas Heartbeat Law, bans abortion after 6 weeks, including abortion-inducing medication. This restricts access to a life-saving medical procedure. Depression and suicide rates are 3 times higher in people who have this access restricted to them. When you look at your daughter, your mother, your aunt, your sister, your best friend, do you look at them and say, I don't care about you? I don't care about your wants, your needs, or your future. Because that's what you say when you say that you support this bill. We, your daughters, your friends, your nieces, your sisters, we understand that you love us, but are you willing to fight for us?
I stand before y'all today as a mother to 2 amazing children. 2 amazing children that I chose to bring into this world. Both of my children are 2 separate reasons why I stand here today to support the right for women to choose what happens with their bodies. The right to bodily autonomy, which is a simple right that every person should have available to them. I was 18 when I conceived him and 19 when he was born. Hadn't even graduated high school yet, but I still graduated. We had sex ed in school, but it talked more about the moral obligations of sex and less about the actual sex education. They compared ripping duct tape off of your arm to ripping away the morals that come with having sex, instead of actually talking to teenagers and telling them where they can have access to affordable, free birth control that helps prevent teen pregnancy. I moved out of that home when I was 18. A little while later, I had unprotected sex and found out at almost 10 weeks pregnant that I was pregnant with what would be my 11-year-old son. I was terrified. I didn't know what to do. I thought about abortion, adoption. Adoption kind of scared me because I lost my mom when I was 12 years old, and putting a child into a home that didn't treat them right is a scary concept at that point. At that point, I decided that I was going to keep this thing growing inside of me. I didn't know what I was going to do. Had no idea how to raise a child. I knew how to not raise a child, and I knew what I was going to do. Not everybody's that lucky enough. But the fact that I found out at 10 weeks, which in today's world going on right now, is past the point where I would even have that ability to make that choice. I chose my son, and that's what makes him so amazing. Such an incredible part of my life is because I chose for him to be there.
I'm a history major here who works in the archives of the university. There are documents originating from influential ranchers and farmers here who have streets named after them. Here in Tom Green County from well over 100 years ago in the 1920s that detail the fight for women's suffrage here in this county. This fight for women's rights is not new here, and not all Texans should be labeled as pro-life just because they are Texan. Woo! Angelo is not big, it is conservative, and sometimes a very scary place to be for people like us. But but we do exist and we deserve respect and basic human rights. Don't ever turn away or let others abuse and shame you for the choices you make to protect yourself and your community and your family. I want every person walking away from this march, no matter their gender, if they follow God, no matter if they have children, no matter if they are a child themselves, to know that you are not selfish for seeking bodily autonomy, because it is yourself. You are not selfish for waiting to have children. You are not selfish for family planning. You are not selfish for not wanting children at all. You are not selfish for getting an abortion because you know that you and the state cannot financially nor emotionally provide for a child. You are not shameful for having an abortion or supporting the freedom of those seeking them. Some of us are taught to follow Christ because he gave his body for our sins. You don't need to do the same. Your body is not a political tool for officials to get elected. Your body is not the means to have a baby, and you are not a martyr for your neighbors.
You know, these bills against abortion are based in the mistrust of women. And we know that most people who will be impacted the most are poor women, women of color, women who are immigrants, and all of us who are marginalized. But there are also people who are not women who are put directly in harm's way by this legislation. I'm trans, I pass as a male, use the man's restroom, and yet I still have a uterus. And I still need reproductive care, and so often, for us, it can be incredibly difficult, if not downright dangerous, to access this care. There are tens of thousands of trans individuals, including myself, who, because of steps we have taken to transition, don't even know if we are capable of becoming pregnant or not. I feel like a lot of people, without even realizing, can look at what's going on, especially, here in the South, and think, well, yeah, that's horrible, but it's just backwards. Old-fashioned religious extremism. It'll die out eventually. But the reality is, this isn't an issue of religious conviction or any sort of moral high ground. Those are justifications for the real issue. This is a consequence of deep-rooted system of sexism, racism, and class inequality. These systems of oppression are present all over the country, and they will continue to fester unless we work to dismantle them.
Petition names, I believe, in March. So they've had this in the works for a while. It's not about religion, though that's what they want to say. It's a premeditated political act. This is specifically done by the right-wing groups to infiltrate local governments and school boards and get everybody on their side for the next presidential election. So it is extremely important that you register to vote. It is extremely important that you turn out for the mayoral election. Our mayor was elected by a group of 5,000 San Angeloans, and there are over 100,000 in this city. That one person can make decisions for us. It takes only 25% of those people to get something on a city council ordinance. So them getting 1,000 signatures from different churches that do not believe in bodily autonomy, that's how they get it in the city council. There's a petition against the sanctuary city bill that is specifically happening in San Angelo. We can't do much except vote Abbott out when it comes to the Senate bills, but we can do something about not making this a sanctuary city.
This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.